Hello everyone. Good afternoon. How are you? Okay, you all are fine. That's good. Students, in last session we have studied two spheres, that is lithosphere and hydrosphere. Now we will learn about the atmosphere. The envelope of air around the earth is called the atmosphere. As we go higher from the surface of the earth, the air in the atmosphere becomes rarer. The air consists of a mixture of gases, namely nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. There are some other gases too in the air in very small quantities. The layers of the atmosphere are named as the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, ionosphere, and exosphere. The layer that extends from the Earth's surface to a height of about 13 km is called the troposphere. The conditions in the troposphere change continuously. They affect the living world to a great extent. The surface of the earth gets heated due to the heat it receives from the sun. Hence, the air nearest the surface is the hottest. As we go higher in the troposphere, it becomes cooler. Almost all the water vapor in the atmosphere is contained in the troposphere. That is why all weather related phenomena such as formation of clouds, rain, fog, winds, and storms take place in the troposphere. The air on high mountains is rarer than the air near the Earth's surface. Aeroplanes fly in the higher parts of the troposphere. There, the air is very rare. Therefore, arrangements have to be made to ensure that passengers get enough air for breathing. Means, in aeroplanes, for the passenger, there are oxygen bags are available. Beyond the troposphere, up to height of about 50 km from the earth is the layer called the stratosphere. In the lower part of the stratosphere, there is a layer of a gas called ozone. Ultraviolet rays coming from the sun are harmful for living things, but the ozone layer absorbs them and protects the living world from those rays. See students, ultraviolet rays which is coming from the sun, that rays are harmful for the living things. But what is the work of ozone layer? That ozone layer absorbs that ultraviolet rays and protect the living world from those rays. How does it rain? Water on the earth evaporates continuously due to the heat of the sun. Water that has percolated into the soil also evaporates due to the heat and enters the atmosphere. As water vapor is lighter than air, it rises high up into the atmosphere. As it goes higher, it cools and condenses, forming very fine droplets of water. The droplets are so small and light that they float in the atmosphere, forming clouds. Means clouds is the water droplets. Because of they are lighter, that's why they are floating in the atmosphere. These small droplets join together and form bigger drops which are heavy. They cannot float. Such drop of water fall down on the earth in the form of rain. See, means whenever these small droplets means clouds is having small droplets, okay. These small droplets join together and form bigger drops which are heavy. They cannot float in the atmosphere. Such drops of water fall down on the earth, then we will call it rain, okay. This rainwater flows into rills, streams, rivers, and finally into the sea. Ice in the snow-covered regions also melts due to the heat of the sun to finally flow into rivers. These processes of evaporation, condensation, and rainfall go on in a continuous cycle. This is known as the water cycle in nature. See, what is meant by water cycle? The processes of evaporation, condensation, and rainfall go on in a continuous cycle. This is called the water cycle in nature. The biosphere. There are innumerable kinds of living things on the earth, means different kind of living things. The various regions of the earth differ in many ways. Some regions are always covered with ice, while others have a hot climate. There are mountains in some places and plains in others. Some places have a lot of rainfall, while others are dry deserts. There are salty seas and oceans, and also freshwater lakes. The ocean is shallow near the coast but away from the coastline. The ocean can be several kilometers deep. We see a great variety in the living things that inhabit these different regions. The polar bear is seen only in the snow-bound polar regions. Zebras are found in Africa and kangaroos are found only in Australia. These animals are not found in any other regions. Elephants and lions are found in regions of hot climate. Plants in all these different regions also show a great variety. This variety is characteristic of those different regions. Many different kinds of plants, animals, and microorganisms are found everywhere on the earth, on land, in water, and in the air. Living things exist in the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. They also interact with these spheres. This living world constitutes the biosphere. Students, always remember this thing. All animals, plants, and microorganisms are dependent on one another. They are also dependent on the spheres of the earth. The biosphere is where they take birth, live, and die. Means all the living things, means animals, plants, microorganisms are all dependent on one another. Also they depend on the spheres of the earth, that are lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. And biosphere consists all these three spheres. The biosphere is where the living organism take birth, live, and die. Now students, let's see what we have learned from this lesson. The Earth's crust and a small hard portion of the layer under it is called the lithosphere. About 1/3 of Earth's surface is occupied by land, while about 2/3 is covered with water. Surface water, ice on the land, groundwater, and the water vapor present in the air together form the hydrosphere. The envelope of air around the earth is called the atmosphere. The water cycle on earth goes on continuously. The ozone gas in the stratosphere absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays coming from the sun and protects the living things from them. Living things occupy parts of the lithosphere, hydrosphere, as well as the atmosphere. Living things and all the parts they occupy are together called the biosphere. So students, end of this lesson. Read this lesson again and try to understand the concepts which is given in this lesson. Notes will be sent to your WhatsApp group. Write that notes in your notebook and maintain your notebook properly. So students, see you in the next session with the new lesson. Bye bye.